Welcome, everyone. The topic for the day is managerial communication in change management. So, we are talking about change management and we are talking about communication process during this turbulent period of change in the organization. So, how do we go ahead with it? Come, let us understand in the next forthcoming 20 odd minutes this particular topic in. So, first and foremost thing for a change management is the mobilizing of commitment that you are looking from one state A, for example, to move to the next step called state B. So, we need to mobilize commitment from all our team members. Change readiness, we need to communicate with them about this process itself. Is the capacity of the key stakeholder to support change in a manner that ensures that a change is appreciably appreciated by every one of them and is going towards a newer stratosphere. We are talking about sustainability is achieved by facilitating uptake. Remember, uptake of only three dimensions. What are they? Number one is the stage of concern, the first stage of awareness that we are talking around it. Then is the stage of preparedness, is having the skill and the will issue by the team members to look into the changes, and last but not the least ways to develop the skills and knowledge for the new change that is required. So we have three stages: the stages of concern, which relates to the understanding; stages of preparedness, which relates to their willingness or the spirit that you're looking into it; and the last stages of ability in terms of acquiring new skills, in terms or be it knowledge, be it technical abilities, as the case might be. Three talking around it. So, change readiness, that is one about it. We have to talk about the change readiness. It's the tool that examines change readiness for key stakeholders and group. What are they? It needs to understand the change interventions will be necessary to successfully guide the change. What are the following step that needs to be taken care of? We have to go for these following steps, which actually relates to the time changes that comes around here. So that needs to be taken across. Let us understand the stages of concern. The three stages, one by one, let me tell it to you, make you aware of it. See, the first awareness stage is zero, day zero, little concern or no involvement. You don't have anything. So, what is the idea? People will say, I'm not concerned with it. Why are you bothering with it? So, next comes the information stage. Now, if they are not concerned, we have to make them aware. The focus of concern is to make an aware. So, we need to come to this kind of statement which needs to tell me at okay, let me know more about it. Can you please repeat it once more? So this is the information stage that comes from the to the employees that needs to go around it. Then can we do it, personalize them, make it impactful and personalize it for the employees. Now the focus of concern is the demand concern, the uncertainty, because future is not the same old comfort zone that we are all working around it. It is all probably potential conflict that can comes around it. So the expression should that we need to understand is this is how it will impact me. What will I be? Where will I be in the new state of affairs that needs to go around it? Then comes the third stage is the management stage, in which we have to actually tell them, yes, let us understand why this particular change has been incorporated by the organization. What are the timelines that we need to follow it out? Now this is what we should be hearing about it. Used to spending all my time in my paperwork, all the processes that needs to be done, is it to be a digital orientation? Then comes the fourth or the consequential changes, is where we are looking at an impactful impact on the individual, impact on the sphere of conduct, impact on the working condition. And this is what this is going to be related to by the people, wherein you will say, look, this is how it has been affecting my team, how it is going to be beneficial towards my team, my orientation. Now we are trying, see, from the concepts of I'm not concerned about it, to the inquisitiveness test, to what is going to be personally affected, and how it has been working in the new normals vis-a-vis the old normals, how it is going to benefit them. So basically what you're changing the parameter paradigm shift which is coming from it. Now you, the team or the employee or the team members are actually on board, and now did we come to the fifth stage of being collaboration. Now is the stage where the focus is on cooperation, on coordination, on adjustment, on understanding each other as to what am I doing with relation to others. This is the question that comes around it. And last is the refocusing stage, is the sixth stage, is on the other universal benefits, other benefits that can be accrued in due to the new changes. I have some ideas of something that will even, believe me, even work even better. And this is what will let me tell ki yes, there is a change readiness in the move to the stage of concern. By the way, the best way to conduct in two smaller group sessions. Now what is this? This is all about team meeting that comes around it. If we can have a briefing, if we can have a presentations, if we can have a grievance handling skills, what to do for, we need to familiarize them with my employees about the new expectations from them, spend time building confidence, having an open discussion, synthesize them their concern with a flip chart, make it out, point it out, refer stages of concerns together with the participants and plot the stage of concern. And what I would say is jointly discuss tactics to help overcome their concern using the intervention previously discussed as the guidelines or suggestions that's been given again. Now we come to the change readiness of preparedness to support. We have already, from awareness stage to the concern stage to the support stage, we have already come across it. Now this is a half day facilitated small group readiness, which will tell me why the particular change is required. Get people talking about the change. Most importantly, the moment they start talking, pointing, voicing their concern, they are halfway, almost midway to the change. We should facilitate what are the critical, the core changes that we are looking into it. What is the thing that you might be losing, what is the comfort zone that you are missing it out, and probably keep them on board at any point of time. Remember not to get them disillusioned at anywhere. The moment they think that they have been left alone or they have been victimized, these people will make it detrimental for the change to happen. So we will facilitate. What do you need? Everything. Remember, everything boils down to support. Put all unresolved issues, try to dissect the requirement. We will talk about the mobilizing commitment is the ability to support. Now this is where it comes around it. For example, the information technological change might help us in training, in developing newer people for the new jobs that might be creeping up, or the required changes that needs to be, or the desired change that we need to incorporate. So we'll talk about the change readiness. I'm just telling you a little bit of a template as into the stakeholders which we can go around it, the stages of concern, the preparedness of support, the abilities that looks around, the change tactics, the respondents. Now identify individuals to the tactics who can be the key person who can actually manipulate the changes and incorporate the changes on behalf of the company. We need to understand the tracking initiative initiated altogether, absolutely not working, not required, things like that. We have to manage. Then comes the mobilizing commitment. This is the communication strategy that we are talking about it. Remember, the topic name is managerial communication to manage change. The purpose of the communication strategy is to define the effort. Please understand, this effort needs to be understood as to why this particular change has been visioned by the company top management. Developing the principles of communication as to the new paradigm. What are the questions, what are the precautions, what are the hindrance, what are the reservations that a person might be actually be moving around it. Providing a framework for developing and implementing the communication is another way to go ahead with it. Remember, troubleshoot as often as possible, as early as possible, as on when on basis. troubleshoot all forms in terms of barriers to communication to any and every appropriate solution. Once you give them enough confidence, believe me, it is through the communication process only the change can be impacted. So we'll talk about the communication elements of communication strategies should have the objectives. That means to enroll people, to make them a team member towards the change, to empanel them, to empower them for at all levels. Remember, an organization doesn't consist only of the top board members, but all the employees, staff working for the organization, no matter in what level he or she is working around it. You need to understand their support, you need to get their support for that change to make an impactful uh, happening in the organization and achieving the desired goals. We will talk about the CSF is critical success factor. Let's say we need to have make available of resources to produce communication material. Definitely yes. Now what is communication material we are talking around it? Now we might not be only talking about the notices, we're not talking about the pamphlets, we are not talking only about the emails, but also we are talking about the social media changes that comes around it, the intra office memo that comes around it. How do we empanel them, how do we hammer the changes every now and then? So maximize the use of respected influential people to deliver the message. That's one of the way. People who have been respected in the organization, people at the higher echelon, if they can walk down, it does actually grab the ears of the lower rung of the employees. So maximize the use of face-to-face communication. Have this builds confidence. This sees the people sees that the change is the pertinent thing to do, because without the change people might get actually extinguished from. So we will talk about the communication elements of communication strategies. What are they? The employee should hear the information all together. We have to have this employee communication all together, that needs to be understood. Communication, remember, should be two ways and face to face. Absolutely two ways and face to face. In key messages of all the themes, they should be underpinning in all communication. Be it in your email, can go for please stop printing the mails. It stop wastage of papers and things like that. You can make it conscious. Whatever you are looking at it, for every time you jot it down, you make it an envelope and there comes around it. Let us understand the change readiness elements of communication strategies. We talk about the name of the stakeholders. What do we go around it? Look at the target audiences. Now is the communication meeting. We can have meeting, we can have presentation, we can have roadshows, workshop, teleconferencing, briefing, demo, and so on. There are so many activities in a communication that can be done so as to incorporate the changes. Remember the messages to should directly highlight the issues, the project time frame, the vision, the feedback, the Q&A, the project status, the job changes, etc. Whatever it comes in your mind, please be specific. Please assign a role, assign a duty, assign a job to the person to deliver those messages, and the date of communication should be earmarked or stamped altogether. If it is digitally done, there would be digital footprint around it. Communication elements of communication strategies. Feedback mechanism are important for ensuring that the communication objectives are being met and the messages are conveyed in the most effective ways as possible. They provide the facility for a target audience group to communicate their concerns. Thereby, remember what is it happening is thereby, once there is a feedback, people will actually understand that they are also being heard. So what do we go around it? We can have something called departmental representation. We can have an open dialogue or open house system. We can have a questionnaire. We can have a communication log that goes around in and out. So we'll talk about communication strategies. What are the barriers? Number one is to desire to keep information secret. This is the barriers. If you are not transparent, people will start doubting you. People will not believe you. Diversity in certain audience required direct or different communication. Probably it might be gender biased communication. It can be from physically challenged individual. It might be people from different ethnicity, people with different background, different religion might interpret things differently. Make them, open them up, speak to them, talk to them, communicate with them, transfer your ideas. What is it all about it? Remember, lack of clear and consistent information is only malign the purpose of change. That needs to be removed. Conflicting information should be avoided. People should be speaking in unison. People should transform and transcribe the same language. No matter what, the objective should be very clear and very distinct. Talking about the mobilizing commitment, understood the needs of concerns of people impacting or probably impacted by the change. Now this is how well have you understood what is going to happen to a person of a particular level, particular position, particular rank in the organization. What is going to happen to him or her? Please let them know. Analyze the sources, people, why people are not moving from their comfort zone. What is it that needs to be done? Is it any incentivized things to be incentivized? Please go ahead and do it. What is the pain points? Try to analyze that. Develop a problem solving positions to understand the resistance. If you can have this thing, and I've been trying to tell it to you from very point of time, at any point of time, as early as possible, as often as possible, decipher any problems, take all the problems head on and solve it to the best of the ability, and develop tactics to prepare stakeholders and support them. We'll talk about the change efforts can derail when there are minute or too little information, when there are, if not too little, too much information. Remember, too much information confuses the stakeholders. They are not able to decipher actually what exactly is the end objective of the change. So please be specific. Neither too little nor too much of information. You should be tailor making the information to the requirement that benefits the audience altogether. They assume technical solution is efficient or sufficient. Absolutely wrong. This is absolutely wrong. It is the human being that needs to impact upon it. They involve time constraint. Probably they're looking at hastening the processes, which again can derail the process, and definitely underestimate the role of the employees for the change, because they remember the key stakeholders are the person who will actually lead the change from the front on the organization. With this, I come to an end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.